All right, this is your buddy's podcast.
I'm Josh.
Michael, let's get into it.
All right, so we've got a lot of interesting stuff to talk about today. I think the Warriors might be done.
The Warriors
It's not a good look. It's really not a good look.
Klay comes back. Klay plays awesome, and Curry actually had not a good game at all.
Yeah.
He definitely helped his stats a little bit at the end of the game.
Steph
Made it look
Curry
better.
did his best Kyle Lowry impression that game.
Yeah.
It wasn't a good look. If Steph plays like that ever again in any one of these games, they're done.
They're done. They're going back to Toronto. I initially said Raptors in 6.
It's not over. I don't think they end them in 5.
I don't think they end them in 5. I think, they're still the defending champs. They're still 3-time champions. Like, they know how to. They've been here before. I think they get this win in Toronto, but I don't see them winning 3 in a row. There's no way.
I mean, unless KD comes back, and even if he does, I mean, Kawhi could be a KD killer. We'll have to see what happens, but I have a feeling KD's out indefinitely.
Yeah, it sounds like they keep announcing it earlier and earlier, like you were saying to me earlier. They just keep announcing that, he's out, and they're saying they're hopeful he'll be back for Game 6, maybe. So it's just like...
To me, it sounds like they knew he was never coming back, and, it was almost like a spiel to throw him off, but could be totally off on that, but that's just what it feels like for me right now.
Yeah. Do they have a chance? I really don't think so. Even if KD comes back, they still have Kawhi Leonard, the best player in the playoffs. He can get them one game. Kyle Lowry, Siakam, if they play as well as they've shown they can play in the finals, then it's just a whole other ball game.
But
they keep getting different contributors every game.
To that point, though, I mean, the Warriors are in that game till the end, and they still played that bad. Like, it felt like they're going to come back, they're going to come back, they're going to come back. They just never did.
Mm-hmm.
So if they can keep it that close with Steph playing like that, then they could really pull out 3 in a row. Obviously, it's unlikely, but with the Warriors, it's never over. You just have to look at history, though. Like, It's only happened one time.
One time, and that was with Draymond going out, and the best player ever. So we'll see. We'll see if they can keep going. Now let's talk about the best player in the playoffs this year, Kawhi Leonard. He is playing outstanding.
Yeah, I mean, every time he went to take that mid-range, it was money. It looked so good. He wasn't even moving the net at the end. He looked so good.
Yeah.
He really did.
Especially when he was contested and his arms, he gets up so high and his arms go over the top of the defender. It's just like...
It's textbook. It really is. Like, it's perfect. He makes us same. Like, it's just fluent, too. Like, you can tell he practiced it so much. He's kind of just different from, like, all the really good players right now. Like, he focuses on, like, defense. His mid-range is really good. He's not just a three-point shooter, so... He's fun to watch. I love him. I mean, Boardman gets paid. It's right. Like
Boardman gets paid.
I mean, look, his rebound numbers are awesome. He obviously lives by that mantra.
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, he wasn't a huge scorer coming out of college, and he went to San Antonio under the greatest coach of all time, and
I mean,
he learned.
He shot 5 for 9 for 3.
Yeah.
That is outstanding. Mm-hmm. That is really good.
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't get that much better than that. It really doesn't.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Klay had a hell of a game, and what did he even shoot? Let me take a look. He shot 6 for 10, and we were like, "Oh my god!" And that's one shot shy.
One shot different, yeah.
So, I mean, if he's looking like the best player right now, the King better watch his throne. Because
yeah, especially the one thing I always said, and I've been saying for a couple of years now. You can ask Josh. His passing was never the only thing that I was like he can't compare to LeBron in was his passing, and now he's making great passes. I mean, passes to assist, passes without looking. He's really upgrading his game. I'm thoroughly impressed by everything he's been able to accomplish.
And you can tell almost by the way he holds himself up. Like, he doesn't think he's better than everyone. You can just tell he works hard. And, I mean, he could work on that all offseason. Like, look at his free throw shooting. I mean, it feels like he makes every one. Like, that's a work thing. I mean, you look at Andre Drummond, I'm sorry. You have to hit those.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to bring him up because he's a bum, but if you just look at all the best players, they can really hit their free throw shots. I mean, even LeBron, like, it feels like he can't, but... I mean, he hits them. Was he shooting a 75 clip?
For his career or something like that. But I agree with you on that free throw point. Like, we were talking about at the end of the game, Looney missed 2 of them, Curry missed 1, and then it's like if they had those 3 points, it's only a 6-point game or something at some point, and it's a completely different feel.
Because that 6-point game, and I think it was a 7-10, but either way, that's that feels so different, man. It feels so different. That's a Steph 3 away from tying the game, really.
Mm-hmm.
It's just crazy. I mean, Iggy shot 50% from the line, Boogie 0 for 1, McKinney 0 for 2, Looney 0 for 2. That's horrible.
Yeah,
it's like it feels like it's
on free throws of the team, 66%.
Yeah,
like
that feels unlike the Warriors to me.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
it is disappointing the way the series is turning out, just because I wanted it to go a little longer.
Come on, it's gonna go longer. Stop.
Let's get into it. Predictions. I think Toronto could end it right here. Kevin Durant's not coming back. They're going to Toronto, and the way the Raptors walked out of that building was pretty gave me a little bit of chills. They were all stone cold in the face. They weren't celebrating. They knew they still got business to go.
They've got the Kawhi bug.
And it looked like if you were watching Draymond's face at the end of the game, Clay's face at the end of the game, they were pissed. And they rightfully so, they lost, but it's just
Dre got teed up at the end.
Yeah, I just don't see them coming back and being able to stop Kawhi or Siakam when he's at home. He's going to be playing a lot better. I mean, he still scored 19 points this game. He shot 6 for 14. It was an alright game. I just don't see how they're going to be able to match up in Toronto.
I just don't.
Especially with Serge Ibaka playing like he did, 20 points off the bench.
I don't see Curry shooting 2 from 9 from the 3 again, though.
Understandable.
And Nick, he was getting good shots.
He was, but he was also taking a lot of contested shots, and they were bothering him. They were playing very physical with him, and they would switch and double him, and
like, hands up, just putting the body
on him.
Yeah, that's how I play.
Just enough to not get the call, you know. And it's gonna bother someone like Curry, a finesse player. I was surprised he didn't try to go to the hole more, because when he did, he was really successful.
He has to do
those reverse layups, they were so clean.
Yeah, you can tell they're just pissing him off though. He doesn't look like himself. I mean, you can almost see it in his eyes. Like, he just looks like he's like he's not feeling himself. I mean, he airballed a 3, I think. I know Clay did for sure.
Mm-hmm.
And I know Curry at the end hit only backboard at least. Like, I mean, he usually has way more.
Something was off. I don't know why.
It was just like a feeling on the whole team. It just, it didn't look good. I don't know. Because if I remember correctly, the Warriors felt like they were making a little run for a second in like the first and second quarter.
Yeah, no, I thought they were going to come back. They were in the lead for going into the third. At halftime, they had the lead. So I expected them to pull away in the third, and the opposite happened. That was one of the most impressive things I saw out of the Raptors. And that's why I'm taking the Raptors next game to end the series.
Okay, I'm taking the Warriors next game, but it's almost impossible to say Raptors aren't going to get this series now. It could happen. I think if it was ever going to happen, it could happen again in this series, just because all the skill on the Warriors.
KD's possibility of returning.
Yeah, I mean, if Kawhi's got to keep going off, they just got to have, like, their whole team is just working together so well. They've got a really good thing. It kind of makes me wonder, though, the whole Kawhi thing. Now that they actually really might do this, do you think Kawhi stays?
It's a good question.
To me, it feels like he had his mind made up before, but I mean, the culture of Toronto Raptors is so good, and he's like a god there now. I mean, they hadn't even made it to the finals before. They're almost going to win one. I don't know. I think it's a super good question. I know he just recently in the past year, bought some property in LA. But I also just read that he bought some property in Toronto, too. So maybe LA's just a summer home. I've heard he wanted to go to the Clippers.
Yeah, the Clippers. He's from California. He wants to go. I think he wants to go home. I'm predicting he leaves. He doesn't owe anything to the city of Toronto if he gets him a championship.
He doesn't owe them anything.
You know,
they knew that coming in. Yeah, he wasn't gonna.
If he comes in and gets the championship, honestly, what the Clippers are building right now with all those players, Lou Williams, Patrick Beverly, Daniel Gallinari's coming back. They got a lot of options there, a lot of talent.
I think they can sign 2 maxes too.
Yeah, they have just It's stupid what they could do with their team, and I see Kawhi being like, I can win another one here. I just won with Toronto. And Toronto, I mean, they're going to be appealing to someone else. Not necessarily Kevin Durant or Kawhi, but they'll get a good player. You know?
You could see, I could see anybody going there and being, it's not even that people maybe they don't want to go there, but the way that team's set up, I could see anybody going there and being successful. I mean, like, If Paul George went there, I think he'd be successful. And I don't even know if he's necessarily a free agent, but like I think he would fit in super good.
Paul
there.
George is a similar player to Kawhi Leonard,
He's got great defense,
3-point shooter.
Score, yeah.
Yeah.
I think Paul George has got to get out of the
I mean, he just signed that big deal. I don't see him going anywhere soon unless he gets traded.
That's what I'm saying. I demand a trade from him, though. I don't know if Russell Westbrook's ever going to work with anybody. I don't know. It just doesn't seem like it works. I don't know why. Like, he's ball heavy. I remember in those playoffs games when they lost, it just seemed like he was shooting a lot of bricks early in the shot clock. And if I'm Paul George, that pisses me off. I don't know. If you're not hitting, I don't know. He's just trying to do too much.
You're still talking about, top 5 player in the NBA when you look at Russell Westbrook. I mean, he's averaged triple-double 2 years in a row. That's unheard of. It's never happened
Absolutely,
before.
But look how he's been winning when he's done this. I mean, he has a bad team around him. It's just maybe his type of basketball doesn't
They lack bench depth. And when you have, someone who gives 110% every time, the whole time down the court, you need to give him breaks.
Yeah.
100%. I mean, they're gonna, if they don't have Melo anymore, so they don't have 3 huge deals, they can hopefully, and especially with some younger players getting better, they could do something. Speaking of the Thunder, Kevin Durant, old Thunder guy, but where's he going? Where's that cupcake heading to?
Please don't say. It makes me so mad that the playoffs are even going this way, kind of, because now he has a reason to go back. Like, they need me. They're not the best team ever.
Yeah.
But if he goes back, I might not watch anything next season. I just hate it. It's
That's
not fun to watch, man.
Without these injuries, the Warriors are probably winning this without Kevin Durant, without the injuries. I mean, Looney's playing with broken ribs. Iguodala is playing at like 70%. Clay came back, played that good, and he's still injured. Like
Clay looked good to me, though.
He looked good, but he's not 100%. It's like, how much better could he have been? And then obviously Curry was worn out from the game before, literally making every play.
If Kevin Durant doesn't go somewhere where he's the sole star, I think it ruins his reputation forever. He could come back from what he did, I think. I think it's possible. If he goes to a market where maybe they're not used to winning, they haven't really ever won a championship, at least not in the last 10 years, the Detroit Pistons, I think he could, like, I'm just saying, if he came to somewhere like the Pistons...
Or the Knicks.
Or anywhere like that past is gone. If you win them a championship or even get a deep playoff run, the fans are going to fall in love with you.
Yeah, I mean, look at Kawhi Leonard. He's now in the conversation of, is he the best player in the league?
No conversation.
It's him or LeBron. And we don't know because LeBron's not playing right now, so a lot of people are leaning towards Kawhi. But Kevin Durant, that conversation happens since he's been on the Warriors, just because he plays so good. But it's always with that little asterisk. It's like, he's not getting double teamed. Yeah, it's if he goes and wins one, being that guy, not like he's playing with a 2-time MVP. Kevin Durant only has 1 MVP.
Mm-hmm.
It's arguable that he's the best player in his team. Not saying he isn't, but it's still a debate.
Wow.
So it's pretty interesting to think about. I think he's going to the Knicks from reports I've read and things I've actually been listening to recently. If something gets leaked in the NBA, it gets leaked for a reason, and it's usually true.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm hearing like this stuff about Kyrie Irving. They wanted him to go to the Knicks with Durant, and Durant would be the guy there.
How do you think that works out?
I think that works out okay. I don't see them winning a championship because of the defense. That's what's been helping the Raptors so much is they're playing awesome defense.
And it shows you.
Kyrie isn't a defensive player. Kevin Durant, while he has improved his defense, not a defensive player, especially when he's going to take on way more of an offensive load.
Way more.
Playing with the
And
Knicks.
they both kind of feel like ISO players too, and I don't, like, there's only one ball. We're big, there's only one ball, guys, so we'll see what happens. That'd be kind of interesting, though. Wouldn't be mad if that happened. I don't think Kyrie's going to stay on the Celtics.
No, it's either, I'm thinking it's the Nets or the Knicks, so. But people are saying he's leaning towards Brooklyn.
I do just want to say right now, though, I was curious about this, so I looked up Russ's field goals percentage for this playoffs, and it was at 36%.
Yeah, no, he wasn't shooting good, that's for sure.
Yeah, so I'm just saying, I mean, I don't want to stay on this for too long, but if I'm Paul George, I'm like, dude, don't fire up shots if you're not going to hit them. Fire what you're good at, drive the lane, get people to...
essentially turn into a Draymond Green where your efficiency is so high that even though your output isn't that great, they need another score, which... Carmelo Anthony, if they could have found a way to work that out where Russell Westbrook wasn't so ball dominant, could have worked out a lot better. I mean, Draymond Green almost had triple-double last night, and every time he brought the ball up, you're like, this is probably going to go in. This is going to go in. He's going to get the ball to the right person.
Absolutely.
If Russ can be that player, and he's just not that efficient scoring wise. Take the inside shots when you get them. You're not that good of a 3-point shooter.
His mid range didn't even look good these playoffs. He was breaking everything. I mean, it's hard to say though. I mean, he's got so much pressure on his back, so it's like, what can you do? If someone has to take a shot, I do want him. But when you've got someone like Paul George, I mean, that's a rock.
Someone shooting almost 40% from the 3-point line and all that.
Yeah, Kawhi just looks like a god though. I just want to go back to that. Like, his passing is so good. He only had 2 or 3 assists that game, or not that many. I think it's low, but a lot of his passing was like, I remember very well that he passes to Siakam. Siakam got Marcus open. Gasol dunks it. And he just gets people open because they put so much pressure on him. And
I think he's learning.
Yeah, and in soccer, I mean, you learn too. The right pass isn't always the pass directly to the guy who's going to score. It's the guy who's going to set up the guy who's going to score because that's not always there. I mean, you got to get people moving. You got to get people open, and I think he's getting really good at that. So
yeah, and I think the Raptors as a whole. That's why I think the Warriors were just so tired because every time Kyle Lowry, I didn't realize it. I was always talking down on him because how are you going to be getting paid $30 million a year and not score? He scored 10 points this game. But he's also doing the same thing you're talking about Kawhi. He's making these extra passes. He's taking these charges. He's doing everything that you don't see unless you're actually watching the game. It's not going to show up on the box score. You're not going to understand unless you watch it.
He's still a bum in my opinion, but I mean, look at the steals they had. Kawhi had 4 steals. Gasol had 1 steal. Lowry had 3 steals. Danny Green had the steal.
They were all over the place.
Yeah, dude, that's crazy. I mean, Ibaka had 2 blocks. Leonard had a block. Siakam had a block. I mean, defense is crazy.
Yeah, limiting the Warriors to 92 points, that's a very impressive feat. I don't care if they have Kevin Durant or not.
Yeah, and I mean, Lowry's and Van Fleet too, they're just like little bulldogs on defense. Like, they're not big guys, but they just grit. Like, I don't know, I love to watch it. It's fun to watch. It's just, Curry's someone who's like almost felt untouchable defensively. Like, he could just hit it in your face. But they're really bugging him. They're doing probably the best job that I've ever seen. Yeah,
how about Van Fleet? Little blood on the cheek and chipping his tooth.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy. It was a tough shot. Like, definitely not a foul or anything. 100% an accident, but he just took a blow to the face. I mean, it happens. It happens all. I mean, not that bad. Obviously, pick up basketball happens all the time, but it was bad. I mean, he had blood coming from him.
So, but I think that's about it for me. Oh, one more thing. Patrick McCaw didn't miss a shot. Didn't miss a shot this last game.
Listen, if I'm Patrick McCaw, like, his plus minus isn't that bad. It's not that good either. He's got those 2 minutes.
2 minutes.
I just feel like those 2 minutes, if you don't have him in there, like,
you could see Curry's face. He got scared.
Because I don't know if we touched on this last time. I read a report. It's insider, so I mean, I don't want to give his name away, but I heard Patrick McCaw beat Curry's ass when they were there. I don't know if I mentioned this last time. This is real. I'm not joking. He beat Curry's ass, and I heard something happened with Aisha too. So I don't want to touch on that too much. I know Curry's got kids. We're not sure if they're Curry's, but anyways, we'll get off that topic. Patrick McCaw's my boy. Curry's scared of him. What do you want to talk about next?
Let's talk about the UFC.
Really interesting fights this weekend. It should be super interesting. I'm super excited, man. It's a really good card. Main event, we got Henry Cejudo versus Marlon Moraes. It's going to be really interesting because if I'm not mistaken, they're fighting for that bantamweight belt. And Henry Cejudo is the flyweight champion. So he's going to come up and fight for the bantamweight belt, which is kind of weird because the whole TJ thing happened where he got caught with steroids or whatever.
Right.
I have Marlon Moraes here, man. He's a killer.
I do too.
You see his knockouts?
Yeah.
He's just, like, Henry Cejudo's so good at wrestling, though, that, I mean, you can't put him out of it, but, like, I think Henry Cejudo's best strategy here is to, pull it into the later rounds, maybe, because Marlon Moraes is so powerful, you can't bull rush him.
That's the thing, too, about when you fight up. It's like, that's everyone's worry. Is he going to get knocked out? Is he going to get knocked out? Because he's not used to taking
power.
Yeah.
But in Henry Cejudo's defense, he is a big guy. He can make featherweight. He might be able to make lightweight. I don't know. He's a big dude. He is built.
Yeah, he's built.
We're talking about an Olympic gold medalist right now. He's a great wrestler. It just scares me him being on the ground with Moraes too, though, because he's so powerful. I mean, he can just get a guillotine, he can lock anything in and just choke you out. So I'm really excited for that. I've got Moraes with a second round knockout, I think. What do you have?
I'm gonna take Moraes as well, but I'm thinking it's gonna be a quick one.
Could be.
I'm thinking first round. I've seen a lot of fights recently where you like everyone gets excited about this fight and then someone gets knocked out in the first round. It's like, what the heck? And with him coming up, I know you're saying he is a bigger guy, but he is still coming up a weight class. He's still, I don't think he's gonna be able to take the damage. And if he can land one solid shot,
we're talking about someone who's 5'3". Like that is a very small person. Most girls aren't that small. So, we'll see what he can do. Moraes is only 5'5", but he's every bit, man. He's got reach on him. Mm-hmm. He's yoked too. It's gonna be super interesting. I'm really excited to watch this one.
I hope it's a good fight. I hope I'm wrong.
I want to see Cejudo get knocked out though. He's acting like a clown out there.
Yeah.
We saw that video of him. He looks like a clown. I don't like the dude, but
yeah, you can't be pulling stuff out of a damn hat.
He's making the UFC look bad in my opinion. But
yeah.
Okay. Next, we're gonna talk about Valentina Shevchenko versus Jessica Ai. I think it's not even going to be a close fight. I don't know if there's going to be a knockout because this Ai girl has a lot of grit, but Valentina went 5 rounds with who knocked out Cyborg again? Amanda Nunes. Sorry,
yeah.
I forgot her name, but she went 5 rounds with her. That's a big deal. I don't even see this. I don't see it going that far. Like I don't know. I don't think there's even really a chance for this girl.
Yeah,
Shevchenko is just so talented, man.
Yeah, Jessica Ai has been fighting pretty well, but I think, like you're saying, Shevchenko, you're not going to knock her out. You're going to have to beat her on the scorecards, and Shevchenko is really strong.
It's like a different type of fighter than I think she's even faced so far.
Mm-hmm.
She doesn't even have that good of a record. We'll see what happens. In fighting, anything can happen at any time. She could go out there and start Shevchenko in the first 10 seconds. Mm-hmm. So we'll see, but I think anybody, it's your smart money to put it on Shevchenko. So, yeah, we'll get over that. And next, we have something that I'm so sad isn't 5 rounds. I know Cowboy talked about it. Ferguson talked about it a little bit. It's hard to make that as a real argument, but I think this really could have been and should have been a main event of something. And this just deserves 5 rounds. These are 2 of my favorite fighters. Mm-hmm. I almost wish they weren't fighting. Cowboy's probably one of my favorite fighters in the UFC right now. He's been on a tear. He's been knocking people out. He submitted Mike Perry.
Yeah.
And, it really brings up talking, the whole kid thing. He had his kid. And he just went on a tear. It's crazy. Look at Van Fleet. Mm-hmm. He talked about it a little bit too. He said it's just a different fire that he's never had before. He's never had that. It's just a different drive.
Something to fight for.
Yeah. So this is so hard to call. Ferguson goes in and he puts himself out there. And if you do that against Cerrone, you could easily get knocked out. So I'm gonna pick Cerrone in this one. I could see a 3rd or 4th round submission. I don't think he's going to knock Ferguson out. I know he doesn't have the best chin ever, but he's a zombie. He just keeps on going at you. So I could see him getting stunned and trying to take Cerrone down, being successful, and then Cerrone getting an arm bar or some type of choke. So we'll see what happens with that one. That is I'm excited for that one so much. It's going to be so good.
Me too. I'm taking Ferguson though.
It's a good pick.
Even though Cerrone does have the height on him, he's got short, stocky arms. Ferguson's got the reach on him by 3.5 inches. That's a lot. And so even if Cowboy tries to keep him at a distance to land that knockout punch, Ferguson's got the reach.
He's just gonna have to watch out for Cerrone's kicks, man. His mm-hmm. kicks are deadly.
Yeah.
I was just so surprised by his last fight though. The way I'm so used to seeing Cerrone kind of finish it. I think he's got the most finishes in the UFC history. So that's pretty big. I know he has a lot of submissions, a lot of knockouts, but he took Al Iaquinta 5 rounds and just pieced him up.
Mm-hmm.
It was we watched that one together, I think. Yeah. He just pieced him up, man. I didn't know if he had it in him like that. He looked so skilled. The only thing though is that fight was a couple weeks ago, I think. Not even a month ago. So we'll see what happens. That just happened. You can look it up if you want, but it just happened. I hope he's fine. He's getting older. I just wish maybe this fight was 3-4 weeks later so we could have a legit camp. Because when he signed this fight, I'm pretty sure he was in Mexico and he said, okay, guys, we got to go back and fight. Mm-hmm. So that's a little scary for me. He's always prepared. That's why I love Cerrone so much. He's just always ready to fight. He's a real cowboy. So you got Ferguson, I got Cerrone.
Yep.
Okay, the next one we're going to talk about is the Jimmy Rivera versus Peter Yan. This is huge for Jimmy.
Mm-hmm.
I remember him getting knocked out by Moraes not too long ago. It's a must win for him. Obviously he's still going to be in the picture. He's a pretty high ranked guy.
One of the best fighters in bantamweight.
Yeah, but when you get knocked out how he did, you gotta win. Mm-hmm. You gotta keep winning. You gotta get back up there. Peter Yan doesn't seem like a joke. He's a young guy. He's bigger than him. It should be super interesting. He's got 1 loss on his career. I haven't heard too much about him. Not super big into bantamweight and the lower weights. I'm more of like a featherweight, lightweight, and up. So we'll see what happens. It should be exciting. Those guys are always moving around so fast, always getting a lot of punches in. Jimmy Rivera's got good wrestling. He's got strong hands. We'll see what happens. It should be a good fight. I'm going to pick Rivera on this one just because I've seen him kill people.
I'm going to take Rivera too. Just a lot better in presence out there. A lot more fights. Almost double the amount of fights. So.
Yeah, and only 2 more losses. So.
Yeah.
Last we've got Tai Tuivasa, and I might butcher this one. We got Blagoy Ivanov. I don't know these guys. I've seen Tuivasa fight before. I don't think I've seen Blagoy fight before. I'm just going to pick Tuivasa for that reason because he's just a big dude. And these are 2 chunk boys. It should be super interesting. Obviously, they've got a lot of power. I mean, Tuivasa weighs in at almost the max at 264, and this other guy's at 250. So, I mean, it's interesting though, man. If you're 5'9" in the heavyweight, you got to be packing power or something because, I mean, that's not a big person.
Right.
So it's going to be super interesting. Both these guys have decent reaches. I'm just going to pick Tai, though, because of his size.
Yeah, I'm going to take Bam Bam Tai Tuivasa as well.
Oh, yeah. All right, that's really all we got to talk about for UFC. Really excited to watch. If you're interested in that, let us know, because if no one's liking it, then you could definitely cut it out. But just let us know, because, I mean, we're doing this for you. If you like it, you like it. If not, then, just let us know. Okay.